Guys, today we're going to be talking about the new designer notes that just came out today, and the new changes to the new season. So talk about it. Here's the win deltas of the ops. I mean, you see Ayana playing a lot, but her win delta's not super high. Grim's win delta is actually not as low as you would think, so nothing too crazy happening here. Then you have Clash and Tachanka, as always, very, very low in the win delta, with this being the further down, being really weak and not winning very often. So everything else is honestly looks pretty stable. Nothing too crazy happening in this win delta. They are, we're gonna get to that actually. Here's the bans. You have Thatcher and Jackal, which is kind of the go-to most people. I like banning Knock personally, but not many other bans. I mean, Thatcher and Jackal just get banned so often. Then you have the defense bans, you have the Mirror, the Valkyrie, which are the general go-tos, and you have the Cade ban, which is, on certain maps, Cade is a really strong ban, like Clubhouse, or, yeah, I mean, Capkin. A lot of people don't like Capkin. And then you see some Flash, maybe some Solus. I mean, Solus is really strong, so I would expect Solus ban to be a little bit higher than that, but hey, there it is. Alright, so now let's talk about some of the operator changes and some of the gun changes. So, here we have Grim. Okay? There's a 1-5 and a 2. He's going to have a 1-5 and a 2x on his commando. So, one of the problems with Grim is he doesn't have any optics like on his commando. And he's a 3-speed, and his Bs honestly are they're pretty weak. They only stay active for like 8 to 10 seconds, and you get 4 of them. So yeah, you do have a lot of burn. If there's an ADS or Romidus, you can burn through it pretty easily, but it only gives you a little bit of time to be able to push it. And having only a 1x option, having to push someone that's normally on a pixel angle, is a little rough. The 1-5, 2x option on this is going to make Grim a little bit stronger on certain maps. So, and then we have Twitch. Twitch is an interesting change. Someone said, like, hey, you hear about the Twitch buff? I don't really consider this a buff per se, because honestly it's kind of a neutral change. Like, they're removing the vertical grip from the F2, so the recoil is going to be a little bit more all over the place. I mean, I think it still has an angled grip, but the angled grips are a little weak now. But you are going to get another drone, so you're going to have 2 normal drones and 2 shock drones. So you're going to have 4 drones altogether. That's honestly pretty strong, making Twitch more of a support option instead of just a entry frag running around with an F2. So good option for some of those support players that are looking for a little bit more fragging power. And if you need a drone more often, I mean, hey, having extra drones. And for the extended barrel, this is the biggest change that I wanted to talk about today. The extended barrel change. 15% increased damage to the weapons. I'm going to go through this at the end of the video on some of what this means for a lot of the guns. So, you know, they changed the suppressor, making it so it doesn't like lower the damage, it increases the recoil. It'll be the same thing for the extended barrel. It's not going to change the recoil at all. It's just going to make the gun bounce a little bit differently. Okay? But putting this on some guns, like let's say Frost, like down here, we're going to be talking about how Frost's gun goes from 45 damage to 36. But with the extended barrel change, which personally I've always been running the extended barrel on Frost, so I'm not going to notice a change to Frost because it's going to take the damage from the normal gun is going from 45 to 36, but with a 15% additional damage, it'll be doing about 42 damage, which is almost the same as it is net right now. So the guns that can run extended barrel is going to be kind of interesting. Like the UMP extended barrel, I mean, 50% extra damage. Like, why not? Guns that can barely bounce and you can run an extended barrel on it, there's no reason to not run an extended barrel on it. A lot of the attacker guns cannot have extended barrels, like the L8 as well as the 5.56. We're going to go through some of these guns that might be pretty strong with this change towards the end of the video. So, hip fire precision change. So spread increase on a lot of the attacker weapons. So less. I think this is probably Blitz's pistol if I had to guess. Better reduce the P10. First growth increase. Okay, so to change the recoil a little bit on the hip fire for the attacker guns. I mean, a lot of attackers will walk around with their gun down and then they'll like start shooting while they bring it up to their face, and getting those hip fires is kind of annoying for a lot of defenders. So increasing that recoil just spread a little bit makes you really have to be aiming down sight, so it's not just a complete random kill. Oh, so they lowered the damage of Capital, so you can't just 2-tap. Oh my god, I didn't realize you can put an extended barrel on this. Capital's gun is going to be doing over 50 damage. So you are going to be able to 2 shots to the body, a lot of 3 speeds. But they lower the damage from 48 to 47, just a slight change, because you won't be able to do 110 damage with 2 shots to the body. So yeah, so just slightly reduce the damage. So not a huge change on that, but and then here's another huge change. The Supernova going from 48 damage to 55. So that's a shotgun, obviously. With Ibana, Echo, and Amaru, I mean, let's talk about Echo. Echo with a Berry 9. So he's a Berry 9 and a Supernova. You will be able to play as a 2-speed Echo with a Berry 9 with a shotgun that has a little bit more oomph to it. So honestly, pretty good option. You can run a suppressor on that shotgun too. Honestly, not a bad option. I definitely see myself running that at least once or twice. So, and then you have the Frost nerf, which we all saw coming a little bit, that with that 1.5 scope. So they're lowering the damage slightly, so it can Frost can keep the 1.5. But with the extended barrel buff, you can run the extended barrel on Frost's gun. Trust me, you can run this. It doesn't hurt the gun at all. Like, you can run whatever barrel you want. You can run the suppressor, you can run the extended barrel, etc. It's not going to change the recoil. Certain guns are not going to have a recoil, like, they're going to be very stable. Like, yes, it's going to be slightly worse than, like, let's say a flash hider, but with a gun that's that stable, it's not going to matter. So extended barrel on this gun kind of negates this entire change, personally. What's Smoke's current shotgun damage? We'll talk about that. I'll check for you. AR increase, so a little slight buff to Maverick's DMR. Okay, probably able to 2-shot somebody with this. Yeah, I don't think that this is a massive change. Oh, 2x sight to the M4. I still think that this doesn't. Maverick's still in a very weak spot. Even with this change, doesn't really help him too much. Like, grab it, put it 2x on the M4. It's kind of like whatever. He already has 1.5, and a slight increase in the AR damage. I mean, the AR was never really that good. No. Thorn, decreased damage. I mean, I'm not really surprised on this. A lot of people pick Thorn specifically just to kill people. It can out DPS some of the attacker weapons, so a little bit lower damage. I'm not sure if you're able to run a extended barrel on this, but we'll look at that at the end of the video. And then here's the last change, which is the AUG, which is vertical slightly up, horizontal is okay. So not too crazy, but okay. So not a huge change, just a slight recoil change on this, a slight nerf to Wamai in terms of his fragging power. All right, now let's go look at some of the guns that we're gonna have extended barrels now that might be a little bit stronger than before. So now we're gonna talk about some of the weapon changes. So Smoke's shotgun is 48 damage, so the Supernova is also 48 damage, but it's going to be buffed to 55. So it's going to be comparable. It's not going to have as much range as a shotgun, but with the extra damage, it should give you a little bit more range, a little bit more killing power. All right, so some of the ops that are going to have extended barrel. I mean, here's the UMP, obviously. I mean, you run, it's 38 damage. You run it extended, it's going to be doing like 43, 44. It's going to give you a little bit more boost, and not going to affect your recoil too much on that. So let's see, Thorn. Thorn's gun was nerfed slightly, but you are going to be able to run this extended barrel on this, so it's not going to change it too much. If you are a Thorn main, recoil is obviously a little bit more considerable, but is fairly vertical. Does it just have a little bit of vertical recoil? Not honestly too bad. So this is the extended barrel change, for me at least, is a massive buff to a lot of defender weapons. A lot of defender weapons that are fairly stable, like the AUG, I've never really had a problem with recoil control, so I'd run an extended barrel on it, and it takes a gun that does 36 damage to like 41. That could potentially out DPS an attacker. There's a lot of times where I die to somebody, and they're like a one-shot. The extra damage is going to be great. Obviously, you can't run it on TMRs. Jaeger, 38 damage. You run an extended barrel. I mean, that's going to be a wild ride on Jaeger, but that extra damage is going to be kind of nice in certain situations if you're going to be playing up close and in someone's face. So here, I mean, there's not that many ARs, if I think any, that are going to be having an extended barrel. Besides, I mean, granted, Capital, I know they mentioned, so I know he's going to have one. Yeah. So this is gonna hit like a hammer. And I think Blackbeard can have one. Yeah, so go from 40 to, like, let's say 46 or so, which is going to actually keep Blackbeard a little bit stronger. Recoil is honestly not that bad anymore. P7 extended. Deck. Yeah, so it goes from 32 to like 37 or 38. Honestly, that is really strong. Really strong. It's just that bandage utility is a little bit weaker. It's a little bit more situational. So Buck has an extended. That is honestly really strong. Gun has a crazy amount of kick, but 40 damage. Put it extended. It's gonna be doing like 45, 46. That is with 837 fire rate. I mean, yeah, even the recoil is bad. I mean, who cares? You're pumping out so much damage so fast. In certain situations, if you can like isolate the close range fights, sheesh. That's strong. So yeah, it's going to make a lot of guns that honestly, it's going to change the gun, how you think about your barrels, honestly, overall. So honestly, like, is that the G36? It's always felt a little weaker, underpowered. I mean, I play a lot of Ion, obviously, but the flash hider, a lot of people run suppressor because honestly the recoil change is not very noticeable. Extended barrel, a little bit of extra damage boost on that 38 damage. I'm definitely going to be trying this out. So on the extended barrel info, so lowest base damage puts over 50 is 44, 40 is 35. Okay, so quick little calculations for you guys and what you're able to do to other ops. So like, let's say I'm shooting at a one armor enemy. If my gun does at least 50 damage, I will take them down with 2 body shots. Let's say if they're 3 armor, it'll take 63 damage. That's more DMR range. So the biggest numbers for me that my takeaways is the 2 shots to the 1 armors, the 3 shots to the 2 armors, and the 3 shots to the 3 armors. So this is going to be like a magic number for a lot of people. For defenders, a lot of times you're going to be shooting at 2 armors or faster. So this is a number that you're going to want to try to get around, or at least this number. These numbers are important for defenders. And for attackers, you're shooting at a lot of heavies. Normally, you're shooting at heavies and 2 armors. So I'm gonna say that the number that you're going to shoot for an attacker is going to be more like this range. You want to be able to 3 shot, so 42. Let's say if your gun does like 38 damage, running extended barrel to make it at least to 42 is going to be able to take those guys out in 3 shots. That change should come out, I believe, in about a week or 2. So, hey, I think it's going to change the game. Let me know down in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe and drop a like for more. Till next time.